Joe Scarice at Work Your Money podcast, hosted by Michelle Wong. I'm actually sitting in for Michelle on her behalf. She's not available this morning for this podcast, so I'm handling a lot of the interviews and interaction with the people that I'm interviewing. Today, we have Rick Bergami from A-Buzz Technologies. I've known Rick pretty much about 7 or 8 years now. We were introduced by another colleague that was in the real estate industry, and being in company with Rick over the years, I've seen his business evolve from just doing IT repair, IT, call, to evolving toward the real estate market, attracting clients from real estate offices to the real estate agent, in setting up their social media structure, and setting up their processes, where a lot of real estate agents go into an office and really don't take a true grasp of technology. And then they get frustrated and they end up hiring somebody in the first place after all that, because a lot of people just don't know how to properly set it up themselves. And I think YouTube doesn't really give any additional benefit. It probably puts people into more confusion. So there's people out there that are emerging in the markets, not just Philadelphia, that are being, how might we say, a crutch to get the infrastructure of their back office in place so they can go 4 steps back to go 20 steps forward. And I think what Rick is doing in the greater Philadelphia market, South Jersey market potentially as well, is offering some tools where your brand is a lot easier to get up and running than if you go into a big mosh pit of a lot of realtors coming into some of these other companies, and there's just no guidance on the social media side at all. Just setting up the proper brand email, I think, has people twirling their eyes. So I'm going to pose a couple questions to Rick in regards to where he sees social media and real estate related to the Philadelphia market, and how important, there are some things that could be worked upon that he sees. What also we can see from a branding perspective, and really the question is, does it really matter where you are as a real estate agent? Is it all about your brand? So again, Rick, why don't you give a quick introduction of who you are, company name, how long you've been around, things of that nature.
Thanks, Joe. So I'm Rick Bergami with A-Buzz Technologies. We're a full-service computer consulting company. We service business and residential. We're based in Bristol, but we travel around the tri-state area. Our motto is we handle technology well. So basically that means we try to handle all technology for people. So there's no disconnect between, hey, my email's not working well. Is it your web provider? Is it your computer? We kind of handle all that for people. Some of the ways we try to differentiate ourselves: we come out to you, so you don't have to disconnect your computer, log it into a store, reconnect it. We guarantee all work. So if something's not working after we fix it, we'll come out and fix it at no extra charge. And the third one is we try to explain things in simple terms. My father was a mechanic for years. I can barely change a tire on a car. Everyone has their specialty. So we try to explain things in simple terms that if you're not into computers, you can understand maybe what happened, prevent it from happening again on there. And we also do some, I have a real estate license in escrow right now, so I kind of understand the real estate market for things. And we try to help a lot of real estate agencies. We seem to have a good fit with them with our business model, because we do a lot of cloud technologies, which is basically, we set you up with an email branded with your brand, and you put a contact in your phone, shows up on your computer, shows up on your tablet, and everything's in sync. So if you don't have an office, or you don't necessarily like coming into the office, it works with that model. So,
a couple questions just to start off. I advise or suggest to realtors that are starting off, or even established realtors, buy your name, buy a catchy phrase.
Definitely.
Have it, have all your emails forwarding to that. It can go back to your Google setup. Set up all your Google backup. How many realtors are you seeing? I mean, you probably met hundreds, right? And you ask them a couple basic questions, right? How many are actually really doing this now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. There's not a lot that are doing it. They're relying on, maybe their broker's name to get their notoriety out. But, as you talked about before, it's definitely up to the individual agent. You're the one on the ground. You're meeting people on there. And, we tell people, even if your provider does provide you, or your broker does provide you with a website, you at least want to register your own domain name on there. We used to do some real estate, and we registered thatdarnhouse.com. It's kind of catchy, it sticks in your name. We get a lot of agents that, they like their name and they like the notoriety, but if you have something like, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt as your name, no one's going to be able to find that.
I just had that name. I changed it.
Yeah. You should register that on there.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, if you have a hard to spell name or hard to pronounce name, you might want to get something like thatdarnhouse.com or something like that, something catchy that people can spell easily, find easily. You might want to register your name as well. It's for $15 a year. So it's not that expensive to register a domain name. Have that point to you. If you ever leave, you could take that same domain name like you were talking about and just move it to your new website with your new broker on there. So
well, then let's take this over to the real estate investor. Real estate investor wants to attract deals, obtain deals, hold deals, or sell deals, right? You meet a lot of real estate investors. Is this the same relevance?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, branding your company 101. If you're with a franchise, maybe you might want to get your own little niche, or, if you're a realtor even or an investor, if you have a certain niche, like we buy houses in Chester or something like that, you can register that domain name and kind of gear all your stuff towards that. That's what we try to tell people. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Focus on a niche. If you're a realtor, maybe focus on buying houses for first responders or something like that. Something that differentiates you from the other realtors out there.
It's really interesting. You said find your niche. Where I see a niche for real estate agents is identifying 3 neighborhoods if you're going to work Philadelphia.
Definitely.
Or work a county outside the Philadelphia market and recognize yourself as a specialist in that market. I mean, you'll get some calls like, hey, I see you're really in Philadelphia and Delaware County. Do you do Montgomery County? And then, of course, you say, listen, I'm really familiar with the entire greater Philadelphia market, but my specialties are here. We can, we could sit down and evaluate the same way that I evaluate here and here for a neighborhood that's maybe not in my promotion areas. Because I do see a lot of Delaware County real estate agents focusing just Delaware County. They'll literally refer out all the Philadelphia business.
Yep.
Same with Montgomery County and the same with Bucks.
Yeah.
If you see Bucks, you'll see more. I feel you'll see more activity between New Jersey, the Mercer County area, than somebody going into Philadelphia County from the Bucks County movement. And I think unless you're on the bottom end, lower Bucks. If you're a lower Bucks, you're most likely facilitating the Northeast or certain northern Philadelphia markets. Because I know you do some business with some offices up in that lower Bucks, mid Bucks area.
Yeah, I mean, definitely find a niche. I know we talked about search engine optimization before, but that's one of the main things. Once you find a niche, Google's kind of a popularity contest. They want to see other people linking to your website, and they also want to see you providing free information for people on there. So if you're going to find a niche like, Ridley Park or something like that, start writing articles or have a ghostwriter write articles about Ridley Park, and that's what bumps you up in the search engine rank on there. If someone wants to find out information about Ridley Park neighborhood, what the best places are, best areas to hang out with, and they do a Google search for that, they're going to find your site and, as a realtor, so write a lot of articles on that. Yeah, or an investor as well. Write stuff to do there, or, maybe new places to live. If you have a house for sale as an investor in that certain area, start writing articles about that area. And then when someone does a Google search for that area, you'll come up in there. And that's going to bump your ranking up on there, and you'll brand yourself as the expert in that area for you.
No, and this ties into another component, really the steering wheel is what I call it, which I know you know what I usually offer to investors and agents. It does make somebody like yourself up. If they come to you, it's not like they're giving you a shoebox of just receipts and here, fix my social media here. What I do is I try to tie in the 30 sites or so that are tied into trend, and to assure that they are, the agent is, we're talking about the agent, that you are in all those sites with a full profile. You do know your URL link. You do know your username and password. You have a picture that's consistent through all of them. Not the one like when you drink from an ice block. Like that. A real professional picture.
Yes.
I just saw a really great picture that I thought was really catchy. A young gentleman that's starting a team. He's in New Jersey. He's got the PA presence. And he's got this picture running over the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. So were you running away from somebody from one side or the other? But it's a catchy. I remember his name. I remember the picture. Visual. He matches up with the picture. He's citable. He loves the business. And I think that's a great social media person to work with because they already they get to a point what they know, and then they get into the realm of what they don't know. And that's where if they have something controlled and hand you over that wheel, all you got to do is press on the gas by feeding it a little bit. Obviously, you see, I am really big on Mortgage News Daily because they have some really great articles for me to share, and I can comment on those. from a neutral perspective. I don't have to give opinion to the one side or the other. It's really just more direct information. And some people just don't know how to put content together.
Yeah.
They're just not good at it. So I tell most people to engage and take on that feed that they get every day, Monday through Friday from Mortgage News Daily, because there's good articles, and the least you can do is write a couple sentences, write a couple hashtags that zone in on specific keywords,
Yep.
and post those into the sites that are available to share that.
Yep.
Now, what does your company do when it comes to the consistency? We get past all the Google structure, Google Business, Google Number, all this is set up. We structure that out. Forwarding emails, no more. I can fund you up to $5 million. Just email me all your personal information to my AOL account. You have a customized email. It's professional looking. You got the branding picture. You got summary content, and then I go to ABuzz Tech. Then I still go to ABuzz Technologies. What do you extend to the investor and/or agent to keep that going?
So we try to do, I guess, the grunt work for everybody, the day-to-day stuff that you probably don't have time for. You're out there looking for houses, deals, investments, and stuff like that. So we'll publish the articles. We have ghostwriters that can write on pretty much any topic. You give us the topic, we'll post it for you so that there's something fresh, maybe every month, maybe once a week, whatever you want to do. And again, that boosts your your ranking in search engine optimization. We can also give you reports on stuff. We can say, hey, we started this May 1st, you had 25 visitors, it's now July, you have 25,000 visitors going to your site. So they're measurable results that you can see that are increasing, links to your site. And then we do Google AdWords, things like that. And Google AdWords has a phone number that you can call. So if you place an ad on Google AdWords, one, you only pay when someone clicks on it. Second, you can see how many people are actually calling. Because, it's great that people are clicking on your link, but if people don't call you or take action to do what you want, then you're wasting your money on there. So we can show you a report saying, all right, 10 people clicked on your link, 5 people called you, how many deals did you get from that? And if it's 0 deals, there's something, maybe it's you, maybe it's the person you have them speaking to, you're not closing the deals. So, your funnel is great up until then, but if you're not closing the deals and making money, it's not worth it. Something's got to change. Whether it's your ad, whether it's who's answering the phone number that they're calling, things like that. So we make sure that's all consistent and we measure it so that we can give you feedback and say we need to change something or everything's going great. You're knocking it out of the park.
So let's go to the last question that really ties in. Measuring, okay? Measuring the impact once everything is on the tracks, not going off the rails. You know me, I text you, what's my password? I mean,
Yes.
that's good for at least once every 3 months, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about everything's set up, everything's running. What does a real estate investor, real estate professional, or agent, what are realistic expectations for new inbound traffic, potential inquiry, interest, viewership? Like what's the 3 month, what's the 6 month, what's the 12 month? Where do you see that realistically without going overboard and exaggerating something?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on, I guess, what you're targeting to or what areas. If you're trying to find a $20,000 house in Yardley and you're targeting that, obviously it's going to be much lower. But it really depends. So what we tell people to do is there's 2 tracks you can take. Either do Google AdWords on there, which is instantaneous. You set up that AdWords account and you set a budget for that, and the next day they're going to start showing your ads on there. So you can expect an immediate gain from that. If you want to take the search engine optimization route, that takes months on there. So that gets you, search engine optimization gets you a higher ranking when someone does a generic search for something on there. So that bumps your generic search results up. That could take months in publishing articles, things like that on there. So, realistically, it depends on your budget. It depends on what you want to do. For AdWords, we usually tell people start off with maybe $100 a month, run 2 ads on there, maybe $50 each. And basically just keep tweaking the words. Say, hey, this $50 ad that I ran got me 50 people clicking on my site. This $50 ad got me 75 people clicking on my site on there. And then just tweak the words. Maybe you can combine one. You can only put maybe 10 words, 10, 20 words into Google AdWords. So it's really easy to tweak.
So what I'm hearing is if you don't do a couple of things up and above working with somebody like yourself for the consistency, doing some things outside their comfort zone, they're not going to see the really true consistent impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 90% now. People search on the web whether they're going to buy a house, sell a house, things like that on there. If they want, if you're buying their house, an investor, they want to make sure you're legit. They're going to do a search for you. So make sure your stuff's together, looks professional on there. It's not, you probably don't want to use like an AOL account or something like that. Have something branded with your business name on there. That you can do, and Google charges $5 a month for a custom email.
Well, that ties into last but not least is streamlining. I mean, where's your strength? Is your strength listing agent, buyer agent, investor friendly agent? Well, if you're caught up in trying to figure out your social media all day, you're not going to have time to attract or facilitate the inbound calls, the inbound inquiries. And I'll give you an example. I run a couple of events a month. Just a couple hundred. But I streamlined all that, and I outsourced that for event placement. I mean, it took a couple of weeks to get accustomed to each other. Now, I'm not doing anything. It's hard a little bit with the control factor. Like I was going to go online and literally cancel my Friday breakfast because it's the day after Thanksgiving. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I paying this little young lady for? That just take care of it. And I'm sitting here with you, and I don't have to block out an hour, the lead canceled, the lead can't, whatever. I mean, that's all facilitated. I have a 24-hour phone service. Okay? It's inexpensive. It's the best $40 I spend a month, or $50. I don't get that many calls from 11 o'clock to 6 in the morning.
It's me calling you.
It is. The heavy breathing ones I got a little nervous about. I backtracked. Now, you were using a burner phone. I got through that, and I found it was you. But I think streamlining a real estate professional today is so important because you have to be ready for the call. You have to be ready for the email. And I think your service at this point for the beginner, listen, you don't go into real estate with $5 in your pocket. You got to be prepared to spend a couple $1,000s to get set up correctly, so you're not waiting for the living a year from now. I think what you're offering is a service that cuts it down by 6 months, where they could potentially get some deals in the pipe. Right now, everybody's closing the deal. I mean, like, you find the right property to list, like your aunt, your cousin. You can list it. You can sell a property today because it's a buyer. It's a crazy market. Seller's market, buyer's market, it's all whatever you want to call it. So, but when that market slows down, which we will slow down at some point or another, you need to have things in place to keep that going, so you could forecast an income.
And if you're expecting to grow and stuff, I mean, you can't do it all yourself. We started off doing that all yourself, but I was always told, run your business like you're going to franchise it. Have systems in place where you can walk away and still make money. Just have a money machine for yourself. I mean, you don't change your own car oil. You're not going to defend yourself in court, so you probably don't.
Call your dad.
Yeah, there you go. You'll do that. Good luck with that. So.
His car's like on blocks right now in front of the house.
Yeah, definitely.
So not a problem. So how do we reach you? What are the best ways to reach out to you? I know you have a great office manager, Brooke.
Yes.
But what are the best ways to reach you other than me stalking you on texting?
Texting me at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But so we did put together an SEO checklist for this podcast. If you go to abuzztech.com, abuzztech.com/RESEO, so real estate search engine optimization. There's a checklist on there. You can go to our website, abuzztech.com. Our number is 833-U-BUZZ-US. So it's 833, the letter U, BUZZ-US. Or you can email support@abuzztech.com.
Great. Rick, I'd like to thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
It was a real and true pleasure going over this. I think people need to listen about this. They don't take it seriously enough. And then they're complaining that they have nothing in their pipeline the next month when they don't have systems in place. So again, Rick, thank you for coming on the podcast. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll get back to you with another guest in just a few minutes. Thank you.